Hello, today I'm going to list off some of the favorite books that I have read this year. In total this year I have read 65 books, and that might sound like a lot, but only two of them were children's books, I promise, okay? Not trying to inflate my numbers or anything. I think I had an average word count of a little shy of 300, so I did a lot of reading this year. Audiobooks were definitely helpful for that. So for one reason or another, I actually don't have any of these books with me today. One of them I think I lent to a friend, audiobooked some were library books, and others I just donated. All right, so let's just get right into the list. The first one on the list is going to be The Myth of Sisyphus by Albert Camus. This book was really good, but also very hard to read. I remember I actually sat in Barnes & Noble for like over half of the book, just sitting there reading it, because I was so determined to just get through it. And I wanted to do it all at once, but that was a bad idea, and I had to leave because I got hungry. But it was good. I ended up lending this one to a friend. I'm waiting for him to finish it and give it back because I want to reread it. It's a great one. After that was How to Astronaut by Terry Virts. This book was very good. I enjoyed it quite a lot. The chapters were short, which I always prefer because I can read more of them, and I feel like I'm doing more. There was also a movie that went along with this book. It was A Beautiful Planet. That was the name of the movie. It was like a documentary about life on the International Space Station, and Terry Virts was there, and also some other astronauts. It was very good. You should go watch it, as well as reading the book. Read the book too. I think they go along well together. Next book up is going to be How to Argue with a Racist by Adam Rutherford. This book was well written, and it also had lots of interesting pictures in it along too. I always enjoy it when there's occasional pictures in the book, but it was very informational. It was just gave good arguments against common arguments for racism. So I enjoyed that. I'll probably end up rereading it again. It's one of those ones you want to reread every once in a while. After that was the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series by Douglas Adams. Now, I actually read the first book when I was pretty young, I want to say early high school, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. So I went back and I audiobooked the entire series, and I just loved it. I've also seen the movie, the TV show, and also I'd like to give a shout out to the radio show. That was probably my favorite out of all of them. I think I listened to the radio show like 3 times this year. It was very good. So I definitely recommend Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's probably one of my favorite science fiction series. After that is going to be Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. I read all of the books, well, audiobooked them. I didn't actually want to buy all 7 of them, but the audiobooks were great. The reader had great voices and it was very funny, and it's also brought up some interesting conversations. Like at work, my boss was talking about blast-ended screws, and it was very good, well written, and I don't know if I'll reread it, but I might. I probably will. I did watch the movies when I was young, but I don't remember any of that. Maybe I'll watch the movies instead. Now, next up is actually probably my favorite read this year. It was 3 books. It was the 3 Body Problem series by, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Cixin Liu. It's very good. I would highly recommend it. If you're going to read anything off this list, it would be this series. It's so good. The first book, it just captured me, and after I read that, I immediately read the other 2, and I didn't read anything else. Typically, I'll hop around with my reading, but for this, I did not. I finished it immediately. It was very good. And the ending, it was like, I did not expect it to be so good. The ending was amazing. Definitely go read the 3 Body Problem series. It's good. Very good. After that, I read The Brain, A User's Guide by New Scientist magazine. I actually read this one, I audiobooked it while running a half marathon. So it's a little emotional bias there. It's the first one I ever ran. It was pretty fun. But it was a great book. It was very informational, lots of psychology, brain stuff to learn about. I like neuroscience. That was pretty cool. After that, this was a library book, and it was probably, I think, the biggest book that I read this year. It was a little short of 600 pages. The Einstein biography by Walter Isaacson. There was so many funny moments in this book. Einstein is really just a funny guy, and he did so much too. I felt like this book just was a really great rundown of his entire life and all the accomplishments he had. It was just a great book, and I'm really glad I read it. Typically, I don't really like to read longer books because it's harder to stay focused on them. but I had this one as a library book, so the time limit kind of kept me focused, which was helpful. And then last on the list is going to be the Dexter series by Jeff Lindsay, which is what inspired the TV show on Showtime. If you liked the show on Showtime, I would recommend reading the books. They're so much better, honestly. I'm only halfway through them, and I'll probably finish them up next year, but I can already tell I'm going to enjoy it. Just what's happened so far in the first 4 books has been so crazy and so much better than the series. And I really enjoyed the series, too, so that's saying a lot. All right, and those are my favorite books this year. I'm going to include links to all of them in the description, so if you're interested in any of them, you can go ahead and buy them. I would recommend all of these. There were a lot of books I didn't mention, and there's a reason for that. I read some bad books this year, but these were the good ones, so go read them.